Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online guide video. Now before I get started with this guide on solo play, I do want to be clear on something. This is more for the casual roleplay type thing. It can help out some of you people who might focus on meta play too. I don't know. I'm showing this with my Lord Knight character build, which I just released earlier today, and I wanted to kind of show this character in action because this is the character I play mostly on live, and this is the character I solo play with most of the time. So on live, this character has pretty much the same stat attributes as this. I don't have the slime cross set yet. I'm working towards getting that. I'm actually using Bloodspawn right now, which is another good option. So let's take a look at the thing real quick. See, a character that plays solo is still going to play primary into a damage dealing source. So for this character, I put everything into stamina because that's where most of my damage comes from. Is for when I play stamina based, I play stamina based. So as you can see, we have 2,396 weapon damage, 48% critical. 17k magic and 29k health and 31k max stamina. Now, I am not using Dubious Cameron Throne, but if I wanted to, I could. I'm going to lose some max stats really bad, but I'm going to get a better recovery rate, and that's going to help me out a lot more, but at the same time, it's also going to be less effective. So we're going to stick to tri-stats for this and keep those higher magic recovery, higher stamina recovery rates going. As you can see, though, we do have a little bit of a low weapon damage. We are going to buff that up to 2805. That's as high as we're going to get out of this character at all. We do have decent survivability. This is another thing that a lot of people ask me. When I play solo, how do I make my character more survivable? And that's the big question. So for this setup in particular, you can see I'm using like Venom Arrow, Endless Hail, Power of the Light on the front bar. Those are some of my damage abilities. Then I also use Wrecking Blow, Brawler. Those are more damage abilities. And then I use a shield for greater survivability. And I use Blazing Shield for that. I use my own class ability. And I also use Rally as a self-heal because it's a really good heal, especially when you're a Templar. And then I use my class's defensive buff. Now, you don't have to use your class's defensive buff. There are other sources. There is, if you are wearing heavy armor, you can use the immovable, brute, passive. If you're in light armor, use your class buff, but use this as a shield. This is something that you can do. And then for the rest of it, like when it comes to different aspects, like when I play solo, I don't want to use a lot of power pots. I don't want to use a lot of potions. I'll use food, that's fine, but I mainly use things like Evil Hunter to give me my increased weapon crit. If I'm doing a Magicka character, I will use Inner Light, and I will also use Degeneration to give me spell power on that character, depending on the character type. Like if it's a Sorc, I won't use it. If it's something that I can get Major Brutality, Major Sorcery from, I won't use Degeneration. But since I'm on a Templar character, I would use Degeneration if I was playing Magicka based. And I'd use Inner Light. On the front bar, you can see I have Evil Hunter here as well. I also have Rally here because this gives me Major Brutality. So this is going to boost my weapon damage. I keep Flawless Dawnbreaker here to boost my weapon damage. So everything I have set up right now is mainly to boost my ability to play this character more effectively in a solo aspect. Solo playing means you're going to go out in the game world, you're going to solo content. That means you're going to solo dungeons, you're going to solo world bosses, you're going to solo public dungeons, delves, dolmens, you know. And I will say this, yes, I can solo a dragon. Is it easy? No. It's probably the hardest thing you'll ever face in the open world by yourself. I did solo it on PTS, though. One. Only one, and it wasn't a red dragon. Red dragons are really hard, the ones with the lower health. The ones with the higher health, the blue or the grayish color dragons, those are a lot easier to solo than the red one. But we're going to show just what a solo build can do real quick, so you guys can see. I'm going to do this world boss here in Murkmire, because it is a very challenging world boss, because you have a lot of ads coming in. And these ads can really start to get on your nerves after a while. But your main goal is to just kill this thing here. Once you get this down, then it's going to spawn some stuff over here. I know this world boss really well because I spent a lot of time doing this during the beta of Murkmire. I use this as my testing grounds, if you will. And if you guys didn't notice, I also, the way I do my shield stacking is I use Brawler first, then I use this. The reason I do that is that way I can stack the Brawler shield first with Blazing Shield underneath. Because then it absorbs more damage. So when it does go off, you can see it did like 6,000 damage right there. That's why. I'm going to go ahead and Dawnbreaker some of these guys, get them out of the way. The other thing you have to understand about solo play is it's a lot of heavy attacking. You're going to do this for resource management because you're not going to be using potions for that purpose. You don't want to waste potions for solo playing unless you're in a dungeon and you're soloing a dungeon. Then you can use potions. That's fine, but when you're doing this like this, there's no reason for it. And you can see here, I'm just taking a beating, and my character still goes. The reason why is because, again, they're primarily solo playing. So I want to have all the resources I can for that purpose. So that's why I do a lot of heavy attacks. That's why I'm using a lot of shields to make it to where I'm just basically unkillable. And I can do this with pretty much any of the character builds I release, because I know how to play solo. I do it all the time. So it's just one of those things. But if you're wondering how to do it, the main thing here is just gonna get out of here because this fight takes way too long for me. As a primarily tank character, it's a lot harder to kill things than it is as a primary DPS character. So for somebody like, say, the Barbarian, the Tempest Barbarian, that build can solo like a monster. Okay, it is designed to be a damage dealer, survivable healer, self-healing, just beast. So it can work really good as in solo play, just like this one works really good in solo play. But this is basically a damage dealer setup with solo capabilities, and that's all my solo builds ever were, was a damage dealer setup with the ability to solo. So everything that I've ever done in the past, I've been doing lately with my new stuff, but I've been doing it in a different way to bring just a little bit more to the character, so you have more ways of playing the character. That's the other reason why when I show you the character stuff, I show you all the different options. I say I unlock all the class abilities, I unlock all the passives for the situations you might be in. Now the other thing I did do here was I respec'd into max stamina and I put on the Thief Mundustone. That's all I did. I didn't go get the Lover Mundus or anything like that. I went and got the Thief because that's going to give me higher crit capabilities. I'm not worried about their getting through their resistances. I already can kill them. That's the problem. So when it comes to solo play, it's more about making your character have that ability to be soloable. And there's a lot of sets out there that you can also use for solo play. Like if you're playing more of a stamina character, you can use Night Mother's Gaze. That's a really great set for soloing because it gives you major fracture. And when you're playing a stamina-based character, that can be really good for you. Now that's how I used to play this character, was I'd play Plague Doctors, the Night Mother's Gaze, and I think it was Bloodspawn. And you can still use that same setup even today with this kind of character. Now when it comes to CP, I don't change anything. The CP stays exactly the same as the way I have it for when I play tank. Or I play a damage dealer. See, this character I don't have to change anything because it's already preset to work in all roles with the CP setup I have. So it can play a tank, a damage dealer, and it can be a healer, but being a healer I do have to adjust my CP. But this is how I play the character when I'm soloing. I take advantage of all the tools that are necessary for me to be a more effective solo player. So I use shields, and I don't always use blazing shield too. Sometimes I'll even use the undaunted bone shield, because it depends on how I'm getting attacked. If I'm getting a lot of direct damage, I'll use bone shield, because this way the enemies are going to hit me with direct damage. They're going to get damage back on them, and that's what's really good about this particular shield, is it does that. Let me see. I'm trying to find an alligator. I don't know how much direct damage these guys do, but you see when he hit me, it said it did 381 spike damage, 691. Every time that you have your bone shield up and they do damage, they take percentage of that back to themselves. So stop leeching on me, dude. But I use this for farming materials, farming gear sets, that kind of thing. That's what I use solo play for mostly. When I solo play, is because I do a lot of things by myself, even on the live servers. Like if I'm farming for plague doctors, or I'm farming for a monster set, or not monster set, but like a dungeon set that I can run a normal dungeon on, pretty easy normal dungeon. I'll run it by myself just to get the sets, because I'm not going to drag a bunch of other people with me sometimes to do that when I can just do it myself. Now if somebody offers me help, I'll accept it and I'll have them go with me, and we can two-man it, because my character is already set up to be soloable. And if they're running a solo setup, they can do the same thing. And you can do this with almost any build in the game, especially the roleplay type builds that I release, because they're already set to have that solo capabilities built into them. That's why I always choose a damage dealing set to go along with whatever sets they run. This way they can play solo when they need to. Or if they need to play damage dealer, they can. So, and a lot of the builds that I do release, character builds, are designed to work more into damage dealing, or more into tanking, or more into support or healer role, however you want to say it. Damage, tanking, healing, or support type characters. And the reason I do that is so this way you can play how you want. You can enjoy the game in the aspects of the way you want to play. So that's why I did the guides this week also, is to show you guys how you can play tanks, healers, damage dealers with any character. I also showed you how you could do support builds and play support characters. And I did the basics of it. There's a lot of different ways that you can play this game. It's a matter of finding the tools that best fit you and the character type of design you want to play. And it doesn't matter the kind of character you want to play. All characters with the right setup can solo. All characters with the right setup can tank. All characters with the right setup can heal. All characters in the game with the right setup can do damage. And that's the nice thing about ESO, is it gives you those different opportunities to play so many different ways. And that is what ESO is all about. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope that this explained a lot. I am going to be doing some more in-depth videos on this stuff later on. These are just basic guides to kind of introduce you into the idea of what these things are, of tanking and healing and damage dealing and all that. I will be doing more in-depth guides later, called like the advanced guide to tanking, the advanced guide to healing, the advanced guide to damage, and then solo and support. And if you guys are wondering about PvP, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be going over the PvP aspects of the game and how you can set your character to be more PvP orientated without really changing much about them. The most you'll have to change is your CP. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope it was helpful. If it was, you guys know what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you in game. Bye.